for our final regular season game?
Well, so far, in terms of roster swaps, it has been, resulting into positive things when we look at, what happened with Resurgence. And now with J-Team, the mid laner now is different, and it's going to be a complete mystery for both Machi, the audience, and of course us, as this is the first time we're going to see him perform with J-Team in the mid lane.
So there, it's going to be the Aphelios and Varus bans, a couple bans for the bot side of the map. I actually like that Brusque is able to draw a ban on his Varus, as he's had some wicked positioning as of late and been able to carry a lot of the fights, as it's going to be also the Syndra banned out here on the side of J-Team.
Oh, and the Taric ban as well. So I really like how PCS has always this flavor of the day. Sometimes it's either Pantheon, perhaps it could be the Taric now. And as you can see, it has been proved to be one of these scary picks. And I'm actually liking that, we're not seeing the Misfortune too much, but because of the Callista and the Varus ban, we might actually go back to the usual Misfortune Ezreal in this game.
Yeah, could be a possibility now that you've mentioned 380 carries taken off the table by both of these squads. There's still the Senna that could also get banned out, and I think that's what it's going to be. Like you mentioned, Ezreal and Misfortune still up and available. Immediately low, that's going to be J-Team locking in the set on blue side right away.
And that could be the Olaf Yuumi. We haven't actually seen the Olaf Yuumi combo in a while, since it already has been denied a couple of times, and Olaf, on the other hand, has been banned at the first rotation almost always. So with Machi, Gemini can opt for the Olaf Misfortune, or if J-Team decides to pick that up too, if ever Machi denies that one.
It does give Bruce, though, a very nice late game team fight with that bullet time being available. Now for the side of Machi, what else do they want to try and lock down in this composition? Do you try and show your jungle early, try and get priority there? And that likely is going to be the play as they hover over the Sejuani and, I believe, lock it in.
And with Machi, this seems to be a very familiar composition. We're always going to look forward to the late game team fights, and that's where they definitely shine. And in terms of weaknesses, Machi so far has shown that they kind of get a little shaky when the opposite team tends to go full aggression, and I feel like this Trundle pick will definitely enable that sort of playstyle.
Alright, so with that, Trundle getting locked in and now looking toward this Orianna as their mid lane pickup, or are we going to see a little bit of a flex here? Instead, I think they're just going to cycle through their options, maybe see whether or not Machi show what their plan is. It's going to be the Nautilus getting not locked in.
Alright, so they're now going to opt for last picking the AD carry and the mid laner. So meanwhile, Machi Esports is the complete opposite, not revealing their support and as well as mid. It could be a mid Ezreal, but that's a little bit too much, as that Renekton's going to be picked up instead, I suppose.
That does mean, though, Machi can go ahead and just hammer away at this pool on the side of J-Team, really try and limit what Lil V will be able to play, as, again, we've now had 580 carries be taken away, and now they get rid of a 6th one as the Kai'Sa not going to be available.
And Ezreal as well has been one of the options to face against a Misfortune pick, as well as a Kai'Sa, who is still sitting at a sad 0% rate, this 0% win rate right now in the PCS. So let's see what J-Team decides to pick up. That is actually a very nice deny safety away from the Misfortune as well.
Yeah, and there's still all the option, like, for the side of J-Team, if they really wanted to get crazy, they could go for an Ornn mid if they wanted to try and use that to maybe go for a bit of disruption, but they like to maybe see some damage. But, okay, Machi are saying, we'll leave open the Ezreal, but we want to go ahead and take away this LeBlanc.
Quite an interesting approach, as LeBlanc has been such a staple for every single mid laner. So might as well just remove the LeBlanc to just destroy any sort of snowball that could happen with Kjorb and Hana in the mid lane. They did hover a little bit on the Kiana, so perhaps that could be the direction where this draft will take. But Irelia, though, is Mission going to play this in the mid lane? That's the question.
There's his Azir, though. His Azir, he likes playing this one. He'll go ahead and lock that in. He's been actually the primary victor on the Azir. You see, it's only a 46% win rate, but has played it, pretty much all those wins have come through Machi. Now for J-Team, though, we're going to see a Zoe here for Kiorb. It was listed as one of his preferred champions on the graphics, so who knows? Maybe that was the play here. And for the side of J-Team now, are we seeing possibly a mage bot considering Ezreal's still up? I doubt it, but who knows?
Yeah, I doubt it too. Might as well pick up either any of the like Talia, any of the strong level 6 as Cass will have to tend to scale up first. But yeah, that is the understandable pickup, as that's the common Ezreal and Misfortune. This actually takes me back to the first few weeks of the PCS. This
doesn't take me back anywhere. This now is making me concerned. Machi, what's the plan here? Okay, go with the Bard, why not? Try and get another quick win on it before the end of the regular season and make it 10 for 10 possibly here as Koala gets that locked in.
Yeah, 100% win rate still on the Bard right now, as yeah, this seems pretty standard, no funny business on the draft so far.
But Bard has a 21 KDA across all play when it comes to the PCS. I just realized that's disgusting. Oh my, is our regional pocket pick just going to be Bard? Is that
Bard?
What everyone at international events, when they look toward the PCS, they're going to be like, that region has scary Bard players? That might be what happens.
That and scary Renekton players. I'm guessing that would be the identity of the PCS. But yeah, it has been very effective pairing it up with the roams with the jungler, and right now 100% that is spooky.
We'll see here, though. It is going to be our final game of the regular season, and we'll be taking a look here over toward, of course, Lil V and Bruce. Both have been crucial to their team's success, especially Bruce when it comes to the late game. You can see them pretty much even when it comes to the stats, and I think this should be a good display matchup between the two. Lil V going to be on Ezreal, though, which is mainly focused toward those single targets.
Definitely, as again, Lil V has been trying his best here, has been very consistent, but against Machi, who has so many threats, and with Mission as well added into the equation, it's gonna be tough.
Well, let's go ahead. On to the Rift we go for our final game of the regular season, and this will help decide our tiebreakers, whether or not we're going to be seeing for first place a tiebreaker, or is it going to be a three-way tie for our final 2 playoff spots.
The fans are definitely watching for sure for tonight. And from
Leah fans, they are for sure watching, but they will have to be started studying up on Hong Kong attitude, as I have been confirmed that no matter what happens in this game, they will be playing a tiebreaker first against Hong Kong attitude.
There we go. So now, Leah fans are definitely on the edge of their seat. Well, at least they have confirmation already. But now with J-Team and Machi Esports at the moment, for Machi, of course, wanna get out of that tie against HQ at the top of the charts.
Decent amount of pings actually coming up here. We might see a small little invade come out from J-Team. Mission is right there, so he'll be able to spot this out as he sees Hana and Rest come on over. A little tiny bit of damage, and a very late invade, kind of akin to what we saw in previous seasons. But guess what? Gemini and PK are already there. They're going to show themselves, and do we get ourselves a little bit of a tussle? Koala's also up here on the Bard, so that's going to slow down Hana and Rest from really trying to go for anything here.
We're still planning to. They were still planning to go back, and the biggest problem is, of course, you don't have that early blast going to just try to get you out of that tiny space, and therefore have to burn a flash, and that's the reason why they decide to not go for it. But Hana will be a little bit behind in terms of getting his rotations on over clearing the buffs. So for now, J-Team does want to get that early level 2 for themselves and try to deny MCX with that.
Meanwhile, down in this bot lane, it's a little rough with the melee support into the Bard. Unfortunately, Woody's going to likely get harassed quite a good bit, but they do hit level 2 before, so they'll have that little bit of aggression possibly out of them. This mid lane, we're seeing Mission actually going up against the Zoe that he's often been seen playing, and especially going up against Kiorb, which is kind of a unknown factor. Kiorb, he actually got himself a Proto Belt off the minion and forces out a flash from Mission as well as the cleanse.
Beautifully done! Kyorb still has his flash. And if he gets, he has another flash from missions earlier. So right now, Mission has no suns.
No summoners. That's a bit rough. It's also a little unfortunate that it just happened to be a proto belt that landed in the lane. I think Mission's actually lucky it wasn't a Ignite. That would have been an unfortunate time because Kyorb is actually running Ignite here and not, say, Teleport, something to be a little bit more defensive. So that's him going full all in, as meanwhile top lane, it's going to be Rest that gets caught out here, uses the Face Breaker into the Haymaker. Unfortunately, he's got nowhere to run, ends up flashing in toward the base of Machi. That's at least going to get the flash out of Gemini, and he's going to get himself the first blood of the game.
That's true, at least that gets another flash off of Gemini, no sort of flash or Arctic Assault flash to just close the gap even further when they want to gank mid lane. And there you go. Rest did try his best to outplay and maybe take PK down with him, but earlier on, you know, Set not going to be matched for the damage coming from PK on this Renekton.
So there we go, and Kyorb also picks up a free GLP. These are some good rolls he's getting off the RNG. Doesn't get a teleport, though, as he wanted to go back to base anyway, so that will allow Mission to just farm away safely underneath the lane, as Mission going full sustain in the build. He's got himself 2 biscuits, refillable pot, as well as some Doran rings.
Yep, and because of that force back coming from Kyorb, no choice but to get those double rings for yourself. And as well as the onslaught of pokes that Kyorb is going to do against this Azir. So might as well just go maximize the sustain instead of giving away a few kills here and there. As we know how Zoe is when she starts to snowball.
We'll see. Here's Mission. Just going to try and freeze up what he can. A slow push back as Kyorb's back in the lane. Meanwhile, top lane, unfortunately, Rest on his first back. Ends up having to go call to try and keep up here as PK got himself the assist. Got a little bit of the Vampiric Scepter. Still a little bit of a CS lead, though, for Rest, so he's not too worried. First blood onto Gemini. Maybe not exactly who you want to put that first blood onto, but nonetheless, still first blood in favor of Machi here, as it's only a 500 gold lead.
True. And with that, though, in the mid lane, I'm actually very excited to see how Kyorb, with the Dark Seal being obtained with the Tome on the first back. So you can tell as J-Team hugging the walls here.
Oh, Gemini just goes for a quick dash on over. And we got ourselves J-Team looking to get a little bit aggressive into the jungle to get some vision down. Trying to do the opposite of what Koala was going to do. Koala is usually the one who likes to get up in your face and try and get some vision down and information for the side of Machi. He'll get himself back into the lane, though, picking up some chimes.
Very true. It has been very difficult, considering that Lil V and Woody is doing a great job shoving the wave or getting priority over Bruce and Koala. So this disables Koala to be a little bit more aggressive with Gemini on the roams. But of course, as Lil V, when you start to run out of mana, and that's the time where you cannot allow your pressure is going to be diminished a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, for poor Mission here, he's been getting some really bad luck as Kyorb got himself a free redemption, now also gets a free cleanse. Kyorb's been getting some good rolls on this Zoe, but still no kill pressure just yet, though Mission has started to run out of his pots, only sitting now on 1 biscuit, so there has been a decent amount of harass landing as Hana now gets himself the Trundle Pillar out. Meanwhile, Woody coming in, able to land a quick hook there onto Bruce. Koala's going to try and get them over to safety. Root's going to land. They're not going to follow on through underneath the tower as they're able to escape with their lives, not burning a summoner.
Yeah, that is the annoying part about, you know, Machi Esports' composition. With the Bard, the escape path is just so easy, considering that, you know, there is quite a lot of single target CC, at least for J-Team, but once you use all of those, it is easy for Machi Esports to try and escape. Oh, wow.
Top lane, PK. Underneath the tower, still able to get a decent chunk of damage. Rest holding on to the Haymaker just to clear out the wave. We take a look back toward Mission in that mid lane. That's a rough back. That's a rough double back now, having to come out here from the Emperor of the Sands. Unfortunately, he's now sitting on 2 books and 2 rings. That's not a great start, but he does have a blue buff, so he'll be able to start poking back here, I think, to Kiorb in the lane. As Hana being tracked through his jungle, not clearing out that vision, so they have full knowledge of where this Trundle is.
Very true. We'll have to see if Hana will get that blue buff and path towards this mini brush on the blue buff. But Gemini, though, no contest whatsoever since, again, they have spotted. Uh-oh. Okay, there.
Now he walks into it as Kiorb comes on over toward the side just to claim the blue buff for his own. And that's going to be the blue buff going on to Zoe as Hana realizes, all right, they had a lot of vision over there. Maybe they're just going to go ahead and try and rush this Rift Herald, though.
Yeah, that has been the play in mind for most of the teams, especially at the early phases of the PCS, where this is the exact same meta that you usually see week 1 and week 2 of this tournament, and they usually just trade off objectives. And after Gemini getting that reset, it is definitely a free take from J-Team. But PK.
He saw PK coming down. He's not going to be able to do a whole lot there as Rift Herald's taken by J-Team. And it goes back to a bit of this patient game, all the lanes farming in. We start seeing the tier, though, picked up there by Lil V, so we're going to start stacking right away. Oh, we also have the exhaust coming out now, also, from the Ezreal. That's something we've been seeing in a couple of other minor regions, especially over in Japan. They love running the exhaust on the AD carry, as Gemini looking for a play here in mid. Kiorb able to flash away, and going to be trying to trade back, but Mission gets the soldiers down to poke him in.
Very true. It has been very handy, considering we've seen a lot of dives towards bot lane, and as well as how Ezreal is not the best in terms of wave clear, so most of the time that wave is going to be shoved towards you, and it's going to enable a couple of dives. But
oh, unfortunately, he gets caught out there. Oh, the bubble! Oh no, that's unfortunate. Depth Charge going to come out. The Ignite is ticking. And Koala will be able to survive. Kiorb, he wanted to land the Paddle Star, but Woody ended up just bringing him back, and that's a little bit unfortunate as it ends up costing J-Team their first kill of the game.
Very true. It's about that chain of CCs of like what order you should be doing this, and that is quite unfortunate considering he was already asleep. The last Paddle Star wasn't able to finish him get the added damage, and Koala, not scot-free, but still lives.
Gets himself to safety, has to force out the flash, but look at this now. It's going to be, again, Portal brings him on in. Koala takes up the damage, but meanwhile, they just take down Lil V. Doesn't even have a chance to flash away. That's a double kill for Bruce.
That was massive from Machi Esports, and you know, J-Team quite extended, not able to sort of remove the ward from that brush over there, and that enables a, you know, early, there's no dragon there anymore, as it has been taken already. But more plates, for sure, for the side of Machi. And again, you know, the Tempered Fate, not even there for any sort of, not even, don't need that at that point, as there's just a ton of damage from Machi.
And there we go. Machi now claim themselves their 3rd kill of the game. Meanwhile, though, Rift Herald was used to get a little bit of damage in on the side of J-Team, I believe, up in that top lane. So they get some turret plating gold back, and it's still only 1,000 gold lead in favor of Machi, but that does give them a bit more pressure, especially in this bot lane, now that Bruce has actually finished off his first item. This Misfortune is going to start hitting a pretty good chunk of damage if you're not careful with that Essence Reaver completed. And, oh, Mission going for the Emperor's Divide, forced to use his cleanse as he's not able to land onto the Zoe. Oh, Kiorb going in a bit aggressively, does have his own cleanse now that Mission used his. That will be it here, as it's just a trade of free sums for the one.
And that seems to be the plan. As you can see, Bard moving towards bot side. Looks like there's not going to be any sort of aggressive play. But they do know, they are aware that Woody is roaming around the riverside, though. So, looks like Lil V will survive still. No worries.
Woody and Hana coming down the river to spot themselves up on the control ward, so that will allow Koala just to play back safely. And now if you're kind of looking here toward Machi, there have been the ones that have been a little bit aggressive. You can even see it in this top lane in particular. PK keeps trying to dive in onto Rest. Not getting the good combo off, and considering Rest was put down early, down a kill, PK hasn't been really able to do much else as it's the set, so he just keeps farming away.
Indeed, and definitely gonna be Hana ganking mid.
Yeah,
Oh, he has flash. He has flash. He has the soldier dash as well to Shurima out from danger. But yeah, that is the difficult part. You have at least like 1 kill over. Rest will still have that teleport advantage as Dragon is live right now. So PK now going back home. The choice whether or not he's going straight to Dragon or go towards top will still be the question. So he has no choice since, again, Rest will get his teleport first.
Yeah, unfortunately, teleport advantage in favor of J-Team, as that's going to allow them to go ahead and secure their first Dragon of the game. You do see some decent ward coverage from Machi does spot it out, so maybe Machi try and respond, but it's still pretty risky here as Kiorb looking to fish with the Paddle Star, not finding it though. And that's going to be the first Dragon going in favor of J-Team. And now we're going to have Mountain Soul for our final game of the night.
Nicely done by J-Team there, as again, teleport advantage is on J-Team's side, therefore they're not able to, Machi Esports not able to contest that one. And it's totally fine, they're ahead in gold. It's not a huge lead, but it still counts a lot, considering that, you know, you've got a Renekton there on the side of Machi, can really destroy Lil V and Kiorb's life into these fights later on, come mid-game.
Well, I see here, though, Machi have been able to find themselves some deep vision, again, right on the buffs, so they've been able to kind of track where this Trundle's been pathing the entire game, as Rest is getting in his exercise. You might as well do it while you're locked in, you know?
That is true.
It's always good. You guys at home, be sure to be taking in the healthy steps there, as maybe he was just getting souped up and ready to hold on to that 350 surplus of gold coming out of his call as that gets finished off, clearing the way of.
Yeah, I'm waiting for PK to clear his, but speaking of clearing, Hana has found 2 of the wards already, so the deep vision from Machi is nowhere to be found anymore. So that's something. J-Team, though, will have to give this Rift Herald up as they don't have control. And in the meantime, though, good news, bot side Lil V does have priority, so at least they get a little bit of free farming at the bottom side.
Yeah, there we go. Rift Herald over in favor of Machi. It looks like, though, Mission has actually shifted himself toward the bot lane here, just trying to soak up the wave as he's had himself some trouble. Koala looking to try and get Kior, but a little bit late on the Tempered Fate. And that will be the Zoe able to stay safe.
Yeah, so far Kiorb has been staying really safe, and you see a couple of attempts from Machi Esports to sort of ruin his day, probably get that 1 kill on his debut game, but so far it hasn't really happened, and it has been more of scaring Mission away from his lane. But Machi could be setting up for this dive, but then, you know, Rest is not around, so they're gonna opt to just destroy that instead.
Machi goes ahead, pushes up to the top lane as PK should be able to get this tower either on this or the next wave. And,
oh my word.
Bruce, Kiorb, you can't be jumping into the 80 carry like that. It may end up costing you, as Bruce not afraid here on this misfortune. Has a second BF sword already picked up.
Yeah, and yeah, Essence Reaver already completed. You see at least for the side of Lil V, he also has 1 item completed, already starting to stack his Manamune, toward his Manamune rather. But Nashor is completed for mission, so that's a really nice spike once they decide to try and contest these future objectives, which will come around 2 minutes, more or less. But at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, that Bruce, what do you call this? That Bruce bullet time in key points of the map.
It's also mission here on the Azir if he's able to find some good Emperor's Divide. And he does get himself to safety as Kiorb a little bit weird on the combo. Could have got that bubble down a little faster, but decides not to as Koala just going to bring in the portal. Looking to maybe go for a dive here. Temper Fate is available. Lil V forced the flash away, so again, no summoners on the Ezreal as he did not have his Arcane Shift.
Yeah, most likely had been baited out already pre-Tempered Fate by Machi. And now, Machi has complete control over this dragon area. Again, tons of control vision being laid out on the field. And this is really good information.
Oh, nice catch, though, maybe onto Gemini, but unfortunately he's a tanky Sejuani. So that's going to be both the ultimates used by the Nautilus as well as the Trundle. Should have it back up in time, possibly for the dragon fight, though, as that's going to be up in about 35 seconds, as Bubble's still not landing there onto mission.
Yeah, not landing, and in the meantime, though, PK has been split pushing quite well at the top side of the map, so Wave is building. Machi, though, will get that huge chunk of damage towards mid lane, as the dragon will spawn in a few.
So there we go. Nice little catch out there, but still, Mission trying to whack away on this tower. Kiorb is going to be there to just clear out the minions and goes back into this split push in the side lane. Machi now bring the Renekton down, so PK doesn't even need to use teleport to join in on this fight as the timing's there, and Machi have themselves the inside track with Scuttle Crab. Also have yourself the Bard over toward the side. Nice little chunk of damage trying to get the slow down onto Woody. Not going to be able to find it. Kiorb looking for that Battlestar. Gets a decent chunk onto PK. Bullet timing is going to rain, and now they just go ahead, jump in immediately onto Hana. And without the jungler available, that should be the Dragon in favor of Machi.
And with that, J-Team will decide to back off. I just want to hand it to Machi Esports for keeping up the pressure, because Lil V didn't have time to go back. They had a minute for Lil V to reset and just resupply his mana, but it didn't happen at all because Machi still stuck around. So, in comparison to a monolith Bruce or a monolith Lil V, of course, Ezreal will have to rely on these Mystic shots, and that's the reason why he had to be a little bit reserved and not able to play the poke game, which was supposed to be their composition in the first place, considering that's a Zoe and then Ezreal together.
And that was Bruce without an Infinity Edge bullet time. It did an okay amount of damage. Now it's going to be like a train barreling through the station, as Bruce is starting to get a little bit out of control. You can see that gold graph now up what appeared to be 2,500 over the Ezreal. Lil V, he's had to go into the Iceborne Gauntlet, so he's going to have a little bit extra cooldown as well as some armor to soak up a little bit of damage, but it's mainly just the kite game, and I'm a little bit concerned here for the side of J-Team because it doesn't feel like they're going to have an insane amount of damage without Kiorb being able to find a bubble.
Indeed, and it hasn't been working out so well, as, again, Mission is actually one of the really talented Zoe players in the PCS, so therefore is able to play around that, knows the matchup well.
Let's see, though, Woody, does he get caught out here? Down to about half health. Lil V still down there, keeping him safe with the Mystic shots. Not going to land on Bruce, but Bruce immediately into the mid lane he goes. They want to go ahead and take down this tower. Tempered Fate is going to come out. It forces Lil V to have to back off. True Shot Barrage a little bit late to the party. And that tower goes down. Bruce picking up gold.
Machi.
Oh, PK.
Okay.
Looking for this flank here immediately. Going to find the knockup, but here comes the rest of the team. Bullet time's going to come out. It does a decent amount of damage. Able to catch out Hana. Able, though, is going to be rest with the showstopper, but unfortunately, Machi are just too far ahead at this point as Bruce is on a killing spree. And that's going to be 4 members taken down for the price of 1.
Massive fight, 21 minutes into the game, and now they're going to get Baron as well. For Machi, this is really good, as we've seen PK still no kills, a lot of assists still on his bag, but it doesn't matter as he's already on this Bork at least for them. And meanwhile, Kiorb's still lingering around, most likely trying to push the wave at least to slow down the push for Machi with this Baron buff.
And it's kind of standard when what we see with Machi. They don't necessarily go crazy in the early game, but the mid to late game, this transition that's going to start taking place, they are not afraid to pull the trigger.
And no vision whatsoever for the side of, J-Team here on the jungle. So they didn't really see PK's travel towards this part of the map, and they were definitely caught off guard when, Lil V already used his Arcane Shift to dodge the Tempered Fate. He already has consumed his Flash earlier as well, so Well, we didn't have much options for that time.
And with that, it's going to be a 7,000 gold lead here for Machi, and it's just another day at the office, it feels like, for this team. They're not getting crazy with any of their plays. They're pretty calm and collective when they go for their decisions, and now the pressure is going to start mounting toward J-Team here as minions are going to start crashing in that are enhanced by that Baron buff, and Bruce is already down in bot lane whacking around, and he's actually rushed for his third VF sword item. He's just doing so much upfront damage.
And that is quite tough for the side of J-Team right now. They're taking towers very, very fast. And they can definitely take 5v5s already. There's not a lot of peel for J-Team, especially when, you know, Kyorb is going to be caught off guard.
There we go, though. Tempered Fate's going to come out, and they're able to catch out Hana there into the bullet time.
Oh.
Nice pillar, though, was able to interrupt it, but still the damage was done. Rest is trying to at least interrupt the back line, but still, he'll get taken on down. That's going to be another tower in favor of Machi.
Yeah, pillar will definitely be reserved for these key bullet times, but you mentioned Machi is just far ahead. Again, this team, 11 win streak, and hoping to, you know, escape that tie against AHQ with the current standings right now.
And with that, inhibitor is going to be broken open, and Machi not slowing down here. They know they feel aggressive.
Nice.
They get the hook there on Bruce, but Bruce still able to just back away, not taking down low. One more Mystic Shot would do it. And you see Machi instantly get themselves to safety over the portal.
He almost has his True Shot Barrage up, but the problem is they have empowered recall, so they can't really try to stop that. And at that time, you know, Dragon is up at least, so they can take that for themselves.
And it starts off here with this nice Tempered Fate is able to separate the team. I have to commend Ohana. Getting that pillar down on Bruce was imperative for them not to lose more.
Definitely, as they only lost Rest during that engage, as, you know, J-Team decides to call that a day. Now, we're back at the Dragon Dance.
There we go. J-Team are the ones trying to start this up, but you're down 10,000 gold. Is this really a fight you want to see?
Ooh, nice.
Bruce almost gets taken on down. Rest able to go over the Emperor's Divide, and they take down Gemini. There you go. Mission taking some damage, gets himself to safety. Bullet time is there, though, and now Bruce has to dodge away from the Battle Star. Still a massive amount of damage, and he takes down the Zoe, and it's a double kill for PK. And he's just going to go ahead and TP in the base and make this a quick 26-minute game.
Whoa, what a fight from Machi, and they're so far ahead, but J-Team tried their best there to eliminate the threats, eliminate Mission and Bruce, but it's not enough.
And unfortunately, Woody, he could try and at least cut the wave in bot lane, but the minions actually take him down, and like that, Machi, very decisive in their victory, know when they can go ahead and end the game off the heel of a teleport from PK, and that's going to be our final game of the split in favor of Machi. They claim first place overall in the standings and force a three-way tie between J-Team, Hong Kong Attitude, and Liab.
And with that, that is a massive way to end the game. I mean, end the whole regular season. 12 win streak right now for Machi Esports. They're looking really solid heading towards the playoffs.
Yeah, so now it's Machi. They're going to claim first overall in the split off a 12-game win streak, by the way. That was a perfect second round robin coming out of this squad. So a great evolution coming out of this team. There was some games, you know, it was close that they could lose, but they just solidified the victory there. For J-Team, of course, this was an experimental game. They have already gotten playoffs based off the strength of schedule tiebreaker scenarios that places them actually into the top bracket. So even if they do lose their game tomorrow, they are still going to be coming in 8th at least. So again, they were just able to at least mess around with their team and maybe see how Kyorb would perform.
Yep, indeed, and it has brought a different play style, considering that, you know, Nesty was the type that really likes to play the bruisers, the AD in the mid lane, and a couple of melee champs. And at the end of the day, we saw his very first game and the very last game of the regular season too. So Kyorb did a lot to suppress Mission at least, but it is not enough.
Now let's go ahead and take a look toward this pretty decisive fight that really just blew open the game.
Yeah, and we did talk about, you know, Vision, and didn't really see where did, PK come from? And Lil V just was caught off guard. And you saw how Rest tried to chase PK down and prevent any sort of engage, but it was definitely too late. They are way ahead in the game.
And with that, it's going to be now J Team, at least falling over there into the standings. Still, though, able to make it into the playoffs. Meanwhile, Machi are going to be, I think, happy overall as they have been able to solidify their place at the top of the standing, lock in first place overall. No tiebreaker they have to worry about tomorrow, as they can look forward now to the playoffs and get a little bit of a time off there. They don't have to play in that first round of the winners bracket. They can see what their opponents are going to do and then come back fighting in the Saturday games next week.
That's true. It's all about being very secretive of what they can bring out. Rather, you did mention that they get to see the cards already for playoffs on the different teams that they're about to face, and that is going to be huge bonus points because it adds mystery to them as well. And Machi, very, very proud on how they've come so far in the tournament. We did mention there was an air of mystery from Machi, as I think the top 3 teams was definitely more on like HQ, Talon, and as well as I believe J Team or HKA. But at the end of the day, we see Machi at first place, so it's really refreshing to see.
Yeah, so can also take in a fact that once again Bruce and Mission were able to perform very well. I give it to Kiarb. He actually was able to find some good poke here and there, but unfortunately the Zoe needs 1 or 2 more items before you can get that true one-shot potential, and PK off that massive flank was able to earn his MVP for the day.
Yeah, and it was definitely a different Renekton, because usually when we see a Renekton be involved in these early game fights, you see him 2-0 and then he just starts storming in. And he was definitely more on the supportive side of things, just being that one of the hard engages after getting a engage from the jungler for sure. But yeah, Machi, solid. I am looking forward to their performance come playoffs.
Yeah, and now we get to look toward the playoffs as a whole, as this is where things start to get a little bit spicy. So, of course, we're going to have another show tomorrow. It's going to be only 2 games being played out, but as far as what I can tell from the schedule, our first game is going to be Hong Kong Attitude taking on Liab. The victor there is in playoffs. The loser goes home. They won't be playing again until the next split in summer, and then the winner of that game will play against J Team, and they will be the ones to decide the 7th and 8th place standing when it comes to our playoff bracket seeding.
So for the Liab fans out there, are definitely at the edge of their seats for tomorrow, as again, this is the time where you put all of your energy balls and just raise your hands up in the sky and, just give all your energy to Liab, especially for the Liab fans. And for HKA fans as well, especially now, they really, really need your energy for tomorrow.
Yeah, and you're probably wondering, how was the tiebreaker pretty much settled? It comes down to what's called strength of schedule. So, League Ops take a look at the current end rankings of the teams overall in the PCS, and you get a multiplier if you actually were able to beat those teams during the regular season. For J Team, they actually were able to beat Talon twice during the regular season, and that gave them more points than Liab, as Liab were unable to beat anyone in the top 3 of the bracket, unlike J Team, who won twice against Talon. HKA actually had the least amount of strength of schedule points, and that's why they're actually going to be seated on the bottom, with, I believe, Liab having side selection in their match.
And that is going to be a huge boost for Liab for sure tomorrow, and it's going to help them out. But yeah, after a rough schedule for them, for sure for Liab, we'll see if, the mental fortitude will be able to survive, as it is just one game. As we've seen, Liab seem to be the type of team that likes to warm up a little bit and have a lot of games on the day, especially like what we've seen yesterday. So we'll see. It's a do or die situation for tomorrow.
Yeah, it comes down to one final game because, again, both teams are 1-1 when it comes to their regular season record against one each other. So we kind of get our conclusion to the best of 3, and that one last game decides whether or not you make it into playoffs. And they only have tonight to prep. Same with Hong Kong Attitude. So both teams are under pressure if they want to make it and continue their spring split.
Exactly, and again, for the fans, tomorrow is technically the official end of the regular season because of the tiebreakers, and I can't believe we're actually at this point already heading over to the playoffs. It's been a very quick and interesting PCS regular season so far.
Yeah, you know, it felt like a long time, but it went by very fast at some point here. So we got ourselves to the end. We'll hopefully get some, again, full clarity and maybe even see a playoff bracket and how it's seeding. Again, we're still waiting on the clean feed production over on the other side, other language, and we'll hopefully get that answer for you guys. But for me, Riku, what has been your biggest shock when it comes to this season?
The biggest shock, okay, that's a lot. Okay, first of all, I think it's the resurgence. So the resurgence is definitely the biggest shock for me. And we did establish that a lot of the teams during, when they talk about scrims, is that resurgence is a really strong team, but only to just not reach expectations and garnered a 8-loss streak up until they met Liab. And imagine hanging on to the fact that every single game, if they lose, come the second round robin, will immediately eliminate them from running towards the playoffs. It must have been really hard for them, and they managed to hold on up until they had to face Talon. So I just want to give massive props to Resurgence still, and I'm looking forward to their performance come the summer split.
For me, I think overall it was kind of Machi when it came to this season, because overall no one, as far as our caster or talent teams, had Machi in first place. I know you, Riku, actually had them second.
I had second place.
You had second. You were pretty close. And then I know Zod over on the Mandarin feed was able to predict them second. But again, no one thought this team was actually going to make it to the top of the standings. They were going to get close, and they were always going to be in that top 3 competition. Then there's also, my second biggest shock was kind of this fall of Liab, and it's a sad fact that this team may actually not be able to make playoffs, considering this was looking to be such a promising roster from the Philippines, as well as the 2 Korean imports coming in. So it's all a bunch of action here as we go ahead and take a look toward our final standings before the tiebreakers tomorrow. A 3-way tie, J-Team, Hong Kong Attitude, Liab. Is HK and Liab are going to be deciding who gets that final playoff position.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the Thailand fans, the Nova fans, are happy to see, Nova not having to worry about those scary tiebreakers, whether or not they'll be able to get throughout playoffs, and they're just there at the middle of the pack.
Yeah, you can see next matchup, it's going to be a quick day tomorrow, as our first match is going to be deciding who makes it into playoffs. Liab versus Hong Kong Attitude. Both teams sitting at the 1-1 record. And then they will go up against J-Team to decide the final seeding when it comes to our playoffs.
Indeed, and I am very scared. As you know, a big fan of Liab, who has witnessed their journey as during Mineski days, and now they're in an entirely different roster, and they've had their ups that is completely up there, and their downs, which is completely just below the earth. And right now, a little bit worried, but a little, I'm feeling the support right now from the Filipino fans out there. So tomorrow, one game. It's just one game. No best of 5s, to redeem themselves. It's just that one single game. It's gonna be tough.
That's a lot of pressure to come on to both of these squads. For Liab, it would be heartbreaking for them not to make playoffs after they showed so much promise. And for Hong Kong Attitude, this was an organization that represented the LMS last year at the World Championship. And there is a very possibility that they don't make it into spring playoffs. So there's still a bunch of action still to come with the PCS after tomorrow. We'll be going into playoffs next week. So if you guys want to tune in tomorrow, I suggest you do, and we'll help decide who's going to be making it into the postseason. For now, it's going to be the end of the show from myself and Riku. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you.